Coming at you live from Boulder's backyard, it's Buffs News Radio Show with your host, Russ. And near is your host, Russ!
What's up, Buffs Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly live radio show on Monday. It is the week of Thanksgiving. We got a lot to still be thankful for, Buffs fans. I know that it is rough right now. I know that it is tough. It is not great. We're not happy. It was not a good weekend. What started out as looking like a decent weekend fell apart very quickly. We'll chat about that today. We'll chat about what's going on with recruiting, as well as we're going to talk about the offensive coordinator job, what needs to happen, what needs to change with Colorado this offseason as we are about to head into the offseason officially here in a little over a week's time. But most of all, I want to give the opportunity for you, the fans, to voice your opinions today, getting to call in, chat with me, tell me how you're feeling, what you want to see happen here in the next several weeks as we head into the offseason, and just vent in general. Obviously, Saturday, absolutely atrocious showing by the Buffs for the last, 10 minutes of that game? I mean, leading up to that, wasn't that terrible. But one simple play changed the course of that entire game for the Buffs and really kind of hammered home the nail in the coffin, so to speak, on the Buffs' ability to come back or to be victorious in that game. I talked about it on Twitter today, some of the positives from that game that I still want to point out, because, again, it's all we can do at this point. It's all we can do at this point. But I tweeted out a couple of guys that I wanted to point out that I felt like had good games that weren't talked about enough. Alex McPherson, London Merritt, Tafiq Byard, the offensive line to an extent, Julian Lewis, Preston Hodge, Ivan Yates, Sean Myers, and of course John Slaughter getting the interception for the second straight week. All of those players seemingly had moments in the games where they made some big plays for the team that kept them in it, allowed them to have a chance to be victorious. And unfortunately, a really stupid decision by this coaching staff really sealed the ability for this team to come back. And while the score was very lopsided, it was close up until that one play. And unfortunately, that's where we're at from that game. So, that's where it's at. Lexus, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Personally, doing fantastic. It's a holiday weekend. Got some exciting family news that I'll share maybe in the coming weeks for you guys too. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting what happens next couple of weeks. And you know what? I'm happy to have this community. I'm happy to have this outlet to be able to speak to Buffs fans out there actively. And I hope that you enjoy getting to watch this content, because that's what it's about. There's not a specific thing. I'm not here to say that I know all the answers. I'm not here to even act like I know the answers. I'm here to just talk sports with friends, the community, with other fans, to enjoy myself while I do it. That's what it's really about. And that's what this channel's about, Love one of the comments from Wednesday, or from the post-game show Saturday night, to me and David saying, oh yeah, the armchair quarterbacks really have the great opinions on this that we need to listen to, all that stuff. And it's just hilarious because it just shows that they're not paying attention to what this channel is, to what we do. It's not about that. It's literally about just enjoying ourselves, getting to talk football and sports with others. And that's what it's about. So I at least can say I got that, in a week that we've got to talk about what we're thankful for. I'm thankful for this channel. I'm thankful for the ability to talk sports in a public setting, to have a quote unquote following of fans who watch along with me, who talk with me online. That's where I'm at. And, I'm thankful for that. And I will say, I don't have this audience. I don't have this community without Coach Prime being in Colorado. I say that probably once a week online. And yet I still get people who call that out and say that, as soon as Coach Prime's gone and that he should leave because we're ungrateful, they can be that way. Appreciate you, Mark, coming in with the $5 super chat. Is it distasteful that Coach Prime flew to watch Shedeur play but refused to go visit recruits, especially in Colorado? Please discuss. The answer is no. That's his son. Like, what are you guys thinking? Anybody that actually believes or is upset of Coach Prime watching his son get into his very first NFL game, start his very first NFL game, shouldn't go and watch his son on a Sunday that's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's apples and oranges. The recruiting thing and the reason why Prime's not going into living rooms is because, half the time those kids don't even commit when you go in the living rooms. If Coach Prime going into a kid's living room guaranteed a commitment out of that player, I would think differently. I'm sure Coach Prime would think differently. The problem is that's not the way it works now in today's game. That's not how it works. He got the commitment of Julian Lewis without going to Julian Lewis's house. He got the commitment of Jordan Seaton without going to his house. That's not the problem. That's not the recruiting problem. There's other recruiting problems out there. But I'm not going to be the guy that's going to bang the drum that the only reason that we don't recruit well in high school is because Coach Prime doesn't visit. Because there's been plenty of years where we've said, oh, look at the recruiting class Coach Prime's getting. It's pretty good. And he never went and visited any of them. London Merritt, Alex McPherson, Gibson, Xavier Farrakhan. You go down the list. What I want to see is the overall just strategy with high school recruiting needs to change. And by that, I mean, who we go after, how we go after them. All of that, I think, needs to change. Absolutely. The number of players that we are recruiting needs to change. The way that we utilize our money, I feel like, needs to change. And right now, everything I'm hearing and what we are seeing, there are going to be some pretty big changes going into this offseason. So I'm going to wait to see exactly what these are. Yeah. I mean, if you're a parent, you won't go support your son in situations like that. You're a piss poor parent, period. I don't care what your job is. Take it off. Exactly. And it wasn't even like, here's what's even crazier about that. Like, it worked out perfectly. It had no effect on the Buffs and Coach Prime's job as a head coach. Because he could literally leave Boulder after the game, fly to Las Vegas, hundreds of flights available, probably went private, yes. Watch Shedeur play, get on a plane Sunday night, and be right back here. I mean, Sundays are days off in college football world. It's always a day off for most players and coaches. So he literally did not miss anything by going that. So it's not even like Coach Prime affected the Buffs in any way by going and attending that game, which is the crazy part. Yeah, why does a coach need to be at a house when the kid should be more interested in seeing the campus that he is interested in? Honestly, Cam, the reason why people say this and the reason why it pops up, people think that that's the end all be all and that's going to get all these guys to commit. It's not. It's not at all. That's not the reason why we are struggling in recruiting. If that's what you want to focus on, go for it, but you're missing a lot more to that story. Just like I said, the overall strategy of who they're going after, where they're going after them, how hard they're recruiting some of these kids, and probably, I think, a little bit, the money issue needs to change. And by that, I do not mean, by the way, that Colorado does not have money. It's been proven to myself time and time again. Colorado has plenty of money to compete in the recruiting sphere and the transfer portal sphere. The problem is that Colorado's been making bad decisions of where they put their money, who they put it on. And then I think that Coach Prime's going to have to change just a little bit and come up on some of his offers. It's just the way it is in this day and age of college football, that the offers out there for high school and for other players is just a little bit higher than the team is willing to go on some players. And if you're going to get those players, you just got to somehow, at some times, bend to their demands to an extent. And that's where it's at. Okay. Jordan, appreciate it. Glad you got the shirt. Glad you're enjoying it. At least that's something positive for the season. And I hope you appreciate that. I was glad to pick you as the fan take of the week last week. Yeah. As a matter of fact, he went on his off day. Hell, put the PJ to good use. How long of a flight? Yeah, an hour. And I mean, even if he went commercial, which I know he didn't. By the way, he has flown commercial. If you guys have missed that, I was literally on a flight with Coach Prime back in January. Absolutely insane moment that I just couldn't believe happened. Didn't get a chance to talk to him, but hey, we were on the same commercial flight. So he does take commercial flights when he absolutely has to. But my guess is Cleveland, heck, maybe the Raiders even, because they're so good, such good friends with Prime, and maybe Tom Brady, sent a private jet. Who knows? But fact is, that was an hour flight. He could literally go in and out same day if he even wanted to, but I guarantee he went after Saturday night and then came back Sunday night. Not a big deal. I think the recruits would have understood Coach Prime. Yeah, I don't think anybody in that is going to be that. Yeah, shout out to 12. He had not a perfect performance, can definitely improve, but he had his flashes and his moments that we knew as CU fans he had within him. Glad to see him ball out. Glad to see him be the first time starter in 17 quarterbacks for the Browns to get a victory. That should be a massive thing. Absolutely massive thing. Who gets fired from the defensive side of the ball? I think major changes are coming. I think the coaches on the defensive side of the ball haven't been good. Should you keep your wide receiver coach or not? I mean, money policy, if I'm being honest, I think at this point, we clean house across the board. Prime is the only one retained. I think you start from scratch. You start from building block one with this team. I think that's honestly where we're at. There's not a coach on this staff that I would be upset if they were no longer on this staff. That's again where I'm at. Appreciate you, Timothy. Thank you so much for watching as always. Yeah, I did see the comment by Antonio Pierce. Makes a lot of sense. I said when they had a change of coaching staff that was the end of the Shedeur talk to the Raiders. So that's where I was at. What up, Brian? Appreciate you dropping by. As always, thank you for being a member of the channel as well. Truly, truly appreciate that. Truly appreciate that. Clean house, even Livingston, Falk. Well, Falk might be gone, Lexus. It sounds like he's up for some head coaching jobs, which is why I said I'd be fine with him leaving, especially if it is for a head coaching job. I don't think he gets fired. Livingston, I have a feeling that he sticks around, but here's what I want to see for Livingston. To give him the benefit of the doubt, I want him to get to pick his staff. I want him to get to pick his staff this offseason. So I think Livingston does get kept. I'm just saying if somehow, some crazy way Livingston is they find a way to get rid of Livingston as the DC, I'm not going to throw a fit about it because, again, it's not like we're doing great on that front. I'm also not calling for Livingston's firing. So that's where I was at. Brian, I'd agree with that. But, I got a lot to be thankful. And while that game was frustrating, it wasn't like we win that game, we're going to a bowl game, and I liked what I saw from a bunch of the players. I did. Julian Lewis, again, he's going to have his ups and downs. I keep trying to talk to people about this. I keep seeing comments online. I do want to call out something, and I would like your guys' opinion on this, but there is a gentleman on the internet that is running a Buffs blog. And he put out a tweet during that game, during the first quarter, that Julian Lewis is not the quarterback of the future, and also that the team has some big decisions to make because they need to find a quarterback in the offseason. I, of course, called him out on it on Twitter, on his tweet, how dumb and asinine of a tweet that was, because Julian Lewis has shown that he has the skill and talent to be a very good quarterback. You live and breathe with that. Is it going to be perfect? No. But to say after the first quarter even of that ASU game, you're saying that Julian Lewis is not the future of this team and they need to find a new quarterback entirely was absolutely crazy. The bad problem is that I've been feuding with this guy for a while because I've called out a number of times on his blog that he is using AI to generate all of his articles. Not only is he using AI to generate all of his articles, but then he very quickly monetized his blog with virus-inducing pop-ups and stuff on the level of like a XXX website. And I've called him out for this. The guy has taken it upon himself to somewhat dox me because he found out who I was, doesn't live that far away from me, has found out who my wife is, and his response to me calling him out on the Julian Lewis tweet was, "I saw your wife in person this week. She seems like a nice person." Now, to me, that's just crazy stuff that the internet does. But there's no reason to even mention that. Like, that's your way of saying that I've seen her in person, know who she is, and can, make her life a living hell. The guy is sick for that. And I'm just saying. He wanted to have coffee with me at one point because I called him out on his AI stuff. And I told him, like, you need to pull back on things. And he, and trust me, I ran his articles through AI generators that colleges use, and it came up 98% AI grade for failure. So, calling him out on that, I felt like was plenty fine. So, if you guys want to know, it's Buff's blog is the name of it. So there's that. But yes, it is weirdo behavior. It is weirdo behavior. Kevin, see, but that's my whole platform is like, I'm fine with you guys and your opinions. We don't agree on everything. I get that. Sometimes I pull my hair out on these streams from some of the stuff that I hear you guys say or choose to ignore. That's fine. But I can appreciate your opinion. The fact that a guy is not, you want to talk about grifting for Coach Prime? That's the ultimate grift, is using AI to generate a blog website and then milk it for as much money as possible by putting really crappy pop-up blogs on said blog before you even have an audience is just crazy work to me. And yeah, so there was that this weekend. But outside of that, I mean, I have a lot to be thankful for. Okay, I do. I have a lot to be thankful for. And, that's where we're at. Jordan, I appreciate you, as always, for being a part of the channel. Shedeur playing well actually helps with recruitment, shows players that you can get prepared for the league with Prime. I mean, all the players do. I mean, Cam Silman-Craig made his NFL debut on Sunday as well. Jimmy Horn. I get it. Travis Hunter is a unicorn and probably would have ended up in the NFL even without Coach Prime and where he went. But the fact is that it didn't hurt him coming there. I mean, I tried to mention that to a lot of people. Everyone will throw out there that Shedeur got drafted in the 5th round because he went to Colorado. No, he got drafted in the 5th round because he's Deion Sanders' son. Travis Hunter got picked top 3 in the NFL draft coming from Colorado. So that doesn't affect you. To the people out there that on Saturday night said that Jordan Seaton needed to transfer in order to be recruited or to be drafted high, that's not the case. Skill will win out over that. And he's still a great player and he's still getting better. Okay. Just because he's not winning a championship on his own does not mean that that has happened. Okay. So, your mom, I'm not even going to pull up your comment because we spent the first 10 minutes of this talking about it, and that's just craziness. That's craziness. Antonio Pierce, the new DC. I hate the idea of Leftwich as an OC prospect because he runs an air raid offense. I've got a list, by the way, guys. I've been working on a list of potential OCs. It's hard, by the way. It is hard to find potential names. I mean, when it's all said and done, I guarantee you it's going to be somebody that we haven't even looked at, that nobody's looked at when it comes to the OC. That's just how it usually goes. Obviously, one of the names being thrown out after them getting fired today was Chip Kelly. Maybe he comes back to college as an OC because that's his bread and butter. He's been at his best when he is calling offensive plays in the college game. Not, so to speak, when he's a head coach. Not, so to speak, when he's in the NFL. So could that be one? Is there a connection there? Who knows? Who knows if that's a potential? But I'd like to share some of the other names just so you guys can have them on your radar, see if, at all could be a potential. But I do think that a lot of these guys probably aren't going to be the next OC. Okay? I truly do think that it's going to come down to, we here on YouTube, we here in the content creator space, we're going to throw names out there over the next couple of weeks. But when it really comes down to it, we probably have no clue who's going to be the next OC. Okay? We are. So that's where we're at. Here's a couple names. I've always brought up Jordan Davis, but I think he's going to be a hot commodity with a potential head coaching candidacy with his name. He is the offensive coordinator at North Texas right now. If you guys have been paying attention, North Texas has been an absolute dream of a season for them, and their offense has been absolutely gliding this season. He would be an absolute steal. I had Joey Lynch, OC quarterbacks, Vanderbilt prior, currently an analyst at Texas A&M. Vanderbilt had a pretty good offense underneath him as well. And so that's it. I'm not ignoring anybody. I have way too many chats, and I'm also just talking out loud. I'll do the best I can. I've always said, you want your stuff for sure read, like guaranteed read. That's where the super chats are. But I get it. I'll do my best to read the chats. Okay. I had the Sacramento State guys listed. Zach Hill's another one. He is the passing coordinator at Boise State. Efficient, aggressive spread structure, very quarterback friendly. Eric Kiesau, offensive quality control coach at the University of Florida. He has ties to Colorado. He's a former wide receiver coach and OC at Colorado. Obviously mentioned Chip Kelly. Obviously mentioned Byron Leftwich. Another one that's kind of interesting that popped up on my radar when I was Googling and searching and, pulling up things to try and just find names to look at. This one's a weird one. I don't think it would work out, and I don't think it would happen, but it's just interesting. Tom Herman, he was an up-and-coming OC in the college game, and he got fired at FAU. His problem is, personality-wise, he's a little bit weird. Okay? He's had some issues on the field. But brilliant offensive mind, proven developer of quarterbacks when he was tied to Ohio State, Utah State, Houston. Run pass balance when it comes to Tom Herman. He might be trying to make a comeback, and coming to CU as the OC and succeeding would be a massive way to get your name back in the college football ranks. So just an interesting one. Okay, just an interesting one there. Will Healy. He is a former Charlotte head coach. Guys. Creative offensive mind, great energy. Was once also considered to be a rising star. OC job at CU could reboot his career as well. He's an interesting one that came up when I was just Googling offensive. So what I did was I started Googling offensive coordinators that have been fired recently, head coaches that have been fired recently in the last couple of years that maybe aren't already OCs or head coaches elsewhere. Guys at the lower ranks that have, done well. Another name that popped up for me that you guys might like. I know you guys brought up, by the way, the North Dakota State head coach. The other one to look at, I don't know if he dropped down, would be Tyler Roll. Okay. Tyler Roll was the OC at North Dakota State for quite a while. Now, and this is why I said I don't know if he dropped down. because he is now a tight ends coach for the Detroit Lions. Okay. So he is a tight ends coach for the Detroit Lions. But, offensive coordinator, very heavy run. Okay. Very heavy run. And that would make sense, Cam. Like that would make sense because I don't think the NDSU head coach is going to be an OC at Colorado. I think he's going to be a head coach somewhere in the higher up levels, FBS. But Tyler Roll is the one that I wonder if we came calling, would he come and be an OC at the Power 4 level versus being a tight ends coach at the NFL level? I mean, it would be a money improvement. So there's that. So he's another name that I came across searching that kept popping up. Very interesting. Some other names out there, I'd be very interested. Like the Sac State OC, that would be an interesting one. When I was searching, a lot of things came up with, the head coach of Sacramento State if he wanted to go to the next level, but he just went to Sacramento State and he's doing such a fantastic job. I don't see him leaving unless it's for a head coaching job. But the other thing that might be nice about a Brennan Marion is, if Prime's long in the tooth and not going to be here much longer, could he come here as the OC with the potential to become the head coach after that? Who knows? But I don't think he's leaving Sac State. See, the problem with that, Keith, I don't think any Power 4 OC is going to make a lateral move or a horizontal move when it comes to that. You got to look at either head coaches that are fired. So, obviously have to take maybe a job cut to get back into the game. Or a head coach / OC at a lower level looking to make the jump to the Power 4. Those are kind of what the targets you would be looking at. Okay. Yeah, that's why I said I don't think he's going anywhere. I mentioned Chip Kelly already, boy. And several people already made the comment. The negative aspect of a Chip Kelly hire is he does not like to recruit himself. We need a guy who's going to recruit. We need our OC because Prime's not going to recruit. If Prime was truly, truly hard just in the recruiting and could leave Chip Kelly to just the X's and O's, great. That would work out. But that would be my hesitation with a Chip Kelly. And you're going to hear over the next several days, a lot of CU people cover Chip Kelly as a potential because he's such a big name. But I just think that he would not work at Colorado. He wants too much control. He does not want to recruit. I just don't think it would truly work out when you really look at it. But his name's going to come up. Okay, his name's going to come up. Recruiting themselves don't recruit. I know. I know where we're at right now. So there's that as well. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, exactly. He'd be expensive and he would want a lot of control that I don't think he could get at Colorado. I don't. Eric Morris was another name. Yes, that one did come up, guys, when I did my searches as well. He's one that popped. Oh, another. Well, no, I think that one I passed on. Let me see. I mean, I will be honest. I'm using a lot of different things. I'm using just Google searches, firing head coaches. And I'll admit, yeah, I use AI to try and help me find these offensive coordinators of who they could be. And then I start doing my research into them. A coach that'd be interesting, but again, I think it would be a lateral move. So I don't think it would happen, would be Dan Mullen at UNLV, who's the head coach there. That's another interesting one that I'd be interested to see. So there's that. We're paying our defensive coordinator more than most teams pay their defensive coordinator / the most in the history of the school. So when you say these comments, have something to back it up, okay? You could have said a plethora of other things. That one does not have any fact behind it whatsoever. Yeah, Eric Morris would be great. With all due respect, CU has had their share of big names. They now need some big coaches. Yeah, Alexis, I agree with that. And that's the way I would like to go too, big. That's why I've been searching out names. That's why guys like Roll came up. Guys that are up and coming, guys that are lower level head coaches that might be ready to make the jump. those are the guys that I really want to look at. I even looked, into the HBCU ranks, of who would maybe want to take that next step. Some interesting names out there. But it'll be very interesting to see what Coach Prime does. It will. A name that kept coming up in the searches, but I don't think it'll happen. Coach Simmons over at Florida A&M, obviously the head coach there. Would the OC role be a promotion for him, or would it not be? He's got a good thing going at Florida A&M. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of different things out there. There is a lot of different things out there. I mean, hey, he's up for grabs. Maybe he wants to. Question is, how good is his offensive play calling skills? That's going to be an interesting one. There's a lot of questions when it comes like that, guys. A lot of questions. A lot of people that will do. Okay. He popped up on my search when I searched, up and coming HBCU coaches to look into as well. That was an interesting name that came up as well in there. Let me see if I have my notes on him as well. Gotta find my notes and gotta find what I have here. Come on. There you go. Let's see. What do we got? Yeah, Trey Oliver, North Carolina Central head coach. Interesting OC, defensive background, but he hires elite offensive staffs every year, exceptional CEO. The problem is they're saying Trey Oliver is more of a defensive coordinator than anything, so I don't know if that would be good. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Hugh Freeze, would he take a step back and start over, or is he looking for a head coaching job? I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I'm one with, yeah. I follow him on Twitter too, and so I've been following with it. If Tim Pulaski became CSU head coach, I'm not a CU fan anymore. I'm done. Northside, come on. Come on, Northside. CU fan through and through. I'm not jumping ship for CSU. Kidding me? Yeah, Scott. Yep. That one's frustrating. Okay, guys, let's hear from our sponsors, and then it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to open up the phone lines to you guys. But it's the final week of our partnership with Taco Bell. We've appreciated Taco Bell this season. Appreciated everything they've done to support the channel, to support all of the YouTube creators on YouTube this season. I hope that we can do something like this again next season. I feel like it was a very beneficial partnership this year. The Buff Box was absolutely amazing. Amazing value. The partnership with the CU Athletics, over $500,000 given to the scholarship funds by Taco Bell. So make sure you guys continue supporting Taco Bell, knowing that they support CU Athletics and the CU Buffs football team. If you're ever in Colorado, make sure to stop by a local participating Taco Bell. They still got the cups, guys. They've still got the cups for a little bit longer. So get them before they're gone. Make sure you have collected all four. Here in the off season, I will be doing a free, just fun little giveaway. I will send you the whole set. I will send you the set of cups to somebody. Along with, we will still be at some point here soon doing the giveaway for the brand new 2025 Coach Prime Blenders sunglasses. So some giveaways coming up in the offseason. I got to figure out the best way to do it for you guys, but I appreciate it. And this week is your final chance to be one of the fan takes of the week and have yourself a chance to win a Taco Bell t-shirt. Here is your Julian Lewis t-shirt. See, it's a pretty cool t-shirt. Can't really tell it's even from Taco Bell. Okay. The Taco Bell logo's on the back, but on the front, you've got good old Julian Lewis, his number. Okay. You got his name, position. Same thing for the Jordan Seaton, Quentin Gibson, Draylon Miller. All of those t-shirts are also available. You'll get one of those random shirts sent to you if you are the fan take of the week. Of course, Jordan was our fan take of the week last week. He got his shirt. Happy to hear that. So again, appreciate you, Taco Bell. Support Taco Bell for their support of CU Athletics and the CU Buffs football team. Sco Buffs, live Moss, and I will always appreciate Taco Bell, baby. So, guys, we're back. Let's get into it. It's the time you've all been waiting for. You guys get to fight over who gets to call in and voice your opinions on what's going on with CU Athletics, CU football, and the CU Buffs. What you're wanting to see moving forward here. Voice your opinions on what else went wrong Saturday night besides the obvious with the decision to play a walk-on receiver at running back for his first carry of his career in a close game. Okay? In a close game. There's that. So, again, the phone lines are open. You're more than welcome to call in. Call into the 970-805-0463 hotline. And I'm happy to talk with you live on the air. Okay? On the air. Well, your mom, I'm glad that you at least said that, okay? So you can admit, because a lot of people are like, oh, we got blown out by Arizona State. We got blown out because of that call, because of that decision right there. You just saw the players on Colorado. The demeanor just changed. I mean, those kids were fighting. They were still fighting for that game. They knew they had a chance. And the moment that that decision was made and that play happened, you could just see the entire team was just demoralized. And from there, yeah, of course it was BTA, because they had completely crushed their spirits, knowing that even if you put yourselves in a position to win, the coaching staff might make a decision that unravels all of it. And I'm sorry, as an athlete, okay, as somebody who's played sports, I can tell you, yeah, there's been times that my coaches have put players into situations that I know they should not have. And when those situations blew up in our face, it made you feel like you have no chance to win. Okay? No chance to win. That dumb play will cost CU a lot of players jumping in the portal. We'll see. We'll see who jumps in the portal. There's a list of about 7 guys that I don't want jumping in the portal, and the rest, if they do, they do. Trust me. Why Kansas trending for Xavier Wells, the cornerback on my MG. We'll see what happens with the recruiting guys. I can't tell you right now at all what's happening there. And unfortunately, I mean, one of the guys that came on a visit this weekend decides to commit to Ole Miss, who doesn't even have a coach. Doesn't even have a coach at this point, it looks like, if, Lane Kiffin leaves there, which, again, it's trending in the direction like teams are going to do that. So there's that. Considering I've spoken to a few of those players, I would say not. You'd be surprised. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there is a core list of players who have said they're going to be sticking around. No, it wasn't Rodney Colton, Scott. But we haven't heard anything on Rodney Colton yet. I mean, he hasn't flipped. There's no word of him flipping yet. No trending towards a flip just yet. But that can always change in the next week or two. But we're so close to signing day, guys. Yeah, Kiffin's out. He's heading to LSU, which is crazy that they got that kid to commit who just came on a visit this weekend. That shows how down bad our recruiting is right now. Really does. Really shows it. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure. I will say we are trending well. I could say that. I mean, guys, that was tweeted out today by On3. One of the guys that did come on a visit this weekend is trending well. 4-star wide receiver Trez Davis, who was the Tulane wide receiver who just came on a visit. He just decommitted from Tulane, and On3 Rivals is saying that it is trending well for us. So that's it. That's it. So there's that. I'm going off On3 Rivals. They said Colorado is definitely in the hunt for him and looking good. So, like I said, there's that. But that's where we're at with recruiting. Well, we don't know for sure that Kiffin is out, because if it's Kiffin, sometimes I wonder if he knows what he's doing. It certainly did look like he was out based on that press conference. I think money-wise, he's about to get a ton of money that he can't say no to. I do. Buffs offensive line next year. Seaton, left guard, best guard in the portal. Center, Yo-Yo. Right guard, Gooden. Right tackle, Cardi Smith. Homegrown Buffs recruited out of high school. Joe, that could be possible. I don't know if out of all of those, I think Cardi is probably the furthest from being ready. Plus, I don't know how well Yo-Yo has been doing with his development at center. Had he been playing center this year, I would say we're good. I would honestly think that Yo-Yo goes left guard and that we go get the best portal center. Because right now there's already several JUCO centers that are looking fantastic that have already hit the portal that could easily fill that spot at center. But I'm liking where you're at. We're looking a lot better like that. It's been quiet on that front. We'll see. 2 weeks till signing day. Moment he signs on the dotted line, it's over. Yeah. Yeah, you can start at guard and do just fine. Terry Wiggins would be huge, but randomly we are creating a logjam in it with Rodney, Carson, Montrez, and hopefully Wiggins, but anything is better than this year's linebacker situation. Yeah, Scott, that tells me a lot, but we are literally going to be completely bare when it comes to linebacker spot. I think we've got one guy returning outside of Montrez, so you need that many. The question is, are they fine with sitting? What are they looking for? Yeah, it'd be interesting. Are we stuck? Otis NIL deal next year. Can we send him packing? Joe, I have no idea how that works. There's no contracts. You can always send a kid packing. You can tell him to leave. There's no official contracts. We've found that out multiple times so far in the NIL era. So they could absolutely tell him to kick rocks if they wanted to and recoup that money for somebody else next year, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to hope for. If Jaheim Otis hits the portal, I don't think anybody's crying. About that. Again, Taco Bell hotline is open. Your last chance to win the fan take of the week. Feel free to call in, chat with us about the Buffs, where you want us to go, how you're feeling after that game. What are your overall thoughts? Feel free to call in and talk about it. North side, West Virginia got number 5 wide receiver from JUCO. He's very shifty. Yep. Yeah, of course we were. What do you mean how we switched up so fast? He's not playing well. It's just a fact. We thought he could be a replacement for Chidoze. Big, strong, and he didn't end up that way. Not only that, but again, just proves where the ranking system is at, because he was rated as the number 1 defensive player in the portal last year. So that doesn't matter anymore. Don't ever look at stars. The fact that CU doesn't have any 5 stars should mean absolutely nothing, since, their ranking system means absolutely nothing, right? Yep, Juju, McPherson, Merritt, Quinnell, Seaton, Q6, Chauncey, Cardi, Ben, Byard, LJ, the Millers, big film session to show how they give off selfish vibes. Who else would y'all want to keep? That's mostly it. Micah Dallin, I would love to see come back. I would love to see us get a medical red shirt for Simeon Price or DeKalon Taylor there. Ivan Yates has started to come on as a corner and looked pretty decent at times. I'd be fine with him coming back. That's about it, if I'm being honest. The rest is, like you said, I think that's the list of who has to stay. The rest could leave if they needed to, and we'd have to figure that out. Is Mamari McNeil out of eligibility? Let me double check really quickly. 2025 CU eligibility chart. Let's see. Let me find our eligibility chart real quick, guys. Okay, I've got the chart. I think this is accurate and updated. As far as the defensive tackle position, no, Amari McNeil is out of. It looks like he is out of eligibility. He is listed as a senior. So is Anquin Barnes, Torian Carter, Tafiq Thomas, Tavian Coleman. We're hoping that Tavian Coleman can get a red shirt and come back. Gabriel Lightfoot does technically have one more year of eligibility, so he can come back. Outside of that, yeah, you've got Alex McPherson, Christian Hudson, our edges. Quincy Wiggins does have eligibility. BDS, London Merritt, those are going to be the rest of your guys there. As far as the linebackers, like I said, the only linebackers that have eligibility left, I mean, technically, Reginald Hughes has eligibility. Kylan Salter, Gage Goldberg, Mantrez Walker, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. Oh, that's right. Ivan Yates has no eligibility left either. Great. DJ McKinney has eligibility left. Isaiah Harge has eligibility left. So there's that. Okay, we got our first call. We'll go with that, and we'll see what they have to say. Thank you for calling Buffs News Weekly Live. This is Russ, who I had the pleasure of speaking with, and where are you calling from?
Hi, Russ. It's Lexus.
Hey, Lexus. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. What do you have to say about what's going on right now?
Well, the game itself, I have to be honest, I was not able to sit down and watch it live all the way through every single play like I normally do because of other things I had going on. So I watched kind of the replay of it. I remember them talking about the play, whether the kid got to the ball and Coach Prime said he put him in and he was rusty, let's just say, and he fumbled.
Yep.
But someone mentioned something about a fake punt.
Yep.
I missed that part.
Yeah, so it was
Arizona State do a fake punt?
Yeah, they did a fake punt in the first half. Got a first down. I will say it didn't really hurt the game. It wasn't the end of the game for us. However, the one thing that was called out by the broadcast team and many people online was Arizona State did use an illegal formation on the punt because the guy who caught the fake punt was ineligible to catch a ball, and that's why he wasn't being covered by Colorado when it happened. And so that's it's a pretty bad one there. But yes, that did occur in the first half. I don't think it was a game-changing play, however, but was a tough play for the defense to deal with.
Okay, I was asking because when I was listening to Adam and Will Gardner's show today,
yep,
Will was acting like who was Colorado, Coach Prime, and every other coach on Colorado should be hung to the cross because they missed that play. It's like, how did you not know that was happening? So I didn't know if it caused made some type of big impact.
It did to an extent because I
didn't see it. I guess I was trying to watch the game and I was trying to take care of other stuff at the same time, and I must have missed that play.
Yeah,
so I was just curious to know if that was a game changer play outside of the fumble from the other kid.
It was. I mean, it was definitely a big play, a massive play for Colorado. It got Arizona State some points out of it, but I don't think it was the full game changer. Now, I will agree with what Will said, and I mean, we have other commenters talking about it. I mean, when you're watching the game live, you could kind of tell it was coming. But again, I think that part of them leaving the guy wide open was because they thought he was ineligible and they did not think that he could even go out for a pass. So, I mean, if you know that and you're smart enough, you're not going to cover the guy who can't catch a ball, and then you cover everybody else. So, I mean, the announcers made a big point about that. So there's that part, but that I don't think that was because again, we're on our way. We're in the red zone with a chance to take the lead. And when that fumble happens, you could just see the air just be taken out of the entire team from both the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball in that point. And from the time that fumble occurred with only, roughly 10 minutes left in the entire game, Arizona State went on to score 22 straight points in that short period. So that you could call a lot of different plays, issues, and all that, but that decision to put that player in and that fumble definitely had probably one of the biggest impacts on that game.
Yes, I saw that. And then, not to mention Arizona State's running back on the very next play ran for 80-something yard touchdown. It was long.
Yep. No, and that's the whole point. It was like, it was a 1-2 punch of, you couldn't believe that we gave up the ball the way that we did. And then for them in the next play to have that big of a play, I mean, the game was over. I mean, I tweeted out immediately. I said, the game's over. We're not coming back from that. So, that is exactly what happened from there on out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my last question, and I'll just hang up and let you answer after I ask and let you answer this one. Just how are you feeling about? Because we might as well go ahead and look at the new season of Colorado football with Julie Ludis at the helm. I don't know if they're going to get another quarterback and, for backup or whatever the case may be. And the other players that we need, the other pieces that we need to get a good competitive team for the new year. And I'll just hang up and let you answer me.
Okay. I appreciate it, Alexis. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thank you.
My outlook on the team, I can't give a true outlook on it until we know some of the decisions that are about to be made. I can't feel good about this team going into next year unless there are some massive changes that happen in the next several weeks. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to wait and see until I can really figure out what's happening with this team this offseason, because there has to be some massive changes coming. Thank you for calling Buffs News Weekly Live. This is Russ. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with, and where are you calling from?
Oh, it's not good, Russ. It's Aurelius, man.
Hey, how's it going? How are ya?
What's up, man? I just seen your show, so you go ahead and call in.
Appreciate it.
For the first time.
Yeah. What are your thoughts right now? What are you wanting to see? How are you feeling? All of the above. What's up? What's going on?
Well, seeing you. I didn't want to see a lot of this wreckage that took place. I know it was hard for a lot of us, but coming to 3-9 and seeing like the makeup of the team, it's a lot there to look forward to. I know we put a lot of expectations on a lot of G5 players who probably weren't ready. The ceilings weren't high enough to compete at this level. I don't want to point so many things. I know a lot of us kind of know where I'm going with that.
Yep.
I just hope the philosophy changes in recruiting a little bit, and we bring in some players who I guess, how could I say this, worthy of the time.
I get it.
And,
we need some hungry guys.
Hello?
Oh, can you hear me?
I heard you say hungry to you go.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We need some hungry guys who want to come in and play, I think, for sure.
Yeah, that is a lot. But, not just hungry, but just, a lot of people can be hungry to play. But, we got to get the certain players, certain kind of players.
Yeah.
The caliber of players. And the mindset. And I see a lot of splits that took place last year. So I don't want to see that happen. This year reminded me a lot of the 4-8 before the 4-8.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. No, I do.
When the team was kind of in shambles, it wasn't no veteranly bond, I would say, within the team. It wasn't none of that. There was a lot of in-house, how could I say this? Like a little music thing going on in the 4-8 years. From Snow, from Blue, to a lot of those guys who were uncomfortable being there. Now, I got that same feeling this year. Some people not, maybe getting their expectations met. From a lot of those senior guys that, come in there. And I think it's CU kind of stay away from that. Having too many seniors that might not be able to, really have their expectations met and then cause those little rush spots in the last one. I've seen a lot of that this year. I mean, I could just look through the TV screen and feel it. It was just seeping through the TV screens. Just the philosophy of that changing up for the best. And just keep the motivation going. Know it's developmental year. Season is going to be great. Juju is going to learn with every snap. Rimbley's here early. I can't really dig in too much on that, but I just hope they build the locker room the right way next year. I think that brought a lot of disparity and a lot of, unfamiliarity to people, and not being able to move through that kind of stuff, of not having the experience of moving through that. It's hard being in a team when you got 3-4 different sides to a locker room. You got, I ain't want to put too much out there, but we know how it is. So I'm just going to leave it there, man. Thanks for digging me up, bro.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate you.
Yes,
see you. I think the thing that needs to, again, be harped on is I do think, unfortunately, ends up being a wasted year, not only because of whatever happened in the portal and recruiting, but, unfortunately, with Coach Prime out, I don't think he was able to institute his culture. And I've said it time and time again, the assistant coaches failed him in not being able to set that culture early on when, the guys were really getting to know each other in the early summer, starting to play into that. And I would agree, this team has definitely all season felt like that 23 team that went 4-8, because you had a lot of interesting things on that team. They just did not feel bonded. They didn't feel together. They were having issues. The first year, he obviously kicked off 2 guys off the team. This year, we've got kids getting suspended for showing up late, things like that. So the culture just was not there either with this group of guys. So I do think we need to have a hard look at the recruiting, how we're recruiting, what we're doing, because it did not work. The guys you brought in this year were not able to buy in. The guys were not willing to work hard and do that. And we saw that right off the get-go. I mean, we heard early on that Jaheim Otis was not living up to expectations and was being lazy. Okay? And so, yeah, it's absolutely, that part is frustrating. I will give it that. That's part of the reason that I do give Coach Prime a pass this year to an extent. Again, I'm not on here every day hammering home that we need to fire Dion. We need to fire Coach Prime. We need to fire. No. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt of not having a full offseason and having to deal with everything that he dealt with and just how tumultuous this offseason was. Dealing with, obviously, his son and the other Buffs to get drafted and all of that stuff. And just the constant stuff this offseason. So this year, he does not have that excuse. Okay? He cannot use that as an excuse. We have to see some changes. We have to see some smart moves by him. This is going to be the make and break year for Coach Prime as a head coach in college football, because he needs to prove that he can make some big decisions and overhaul what he needs to overhaul and do it quickly. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Okay? And if he succeeds, it's going to be a massive show of who he is as a person. And if he fails, then everybody knows the truth that he's not a coach that needs to be a coach. There's that. Next phone call. Thank you for calling Buffs News Weekly Live. This is Russ. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with, and where are you calling from?
Hey, Russ, this is Master Phillips.
Hey, how's it going? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. Let me know. What do you have? What are you feeling right now?
I'll tell you what, man. I'm calling from Savannah, Georgia. I put a lot of time into watching the Buffaloes. One of the things that bothers me is for something that I'm interested in seeing how somebody else sees it. Is I understand that a head coach often falls on the sword for the rest of the staff and things like that.
Yep.
But it seems to me that one of the things that's been confused with the Colorado Buffaloes is we look at coach Prime from the perspective of, yeah, he was out. We respect that. He had health issues and things like that. But what about coaching on the field? Because he's out there on the field. So I remember when he said that when they made calls, he could hear it in the headphones. And then he would give the, I guess for lack of a better term, the final okay to decisions that were made. So when we see certain decisions that were being made, we understand execution is on the players, even though it requires some coaching to make, get the players in the right position and have the right, attitude and the skills to play to a certain degree. But play calls, game clock management, different things like that. The head coach is on the field.
Yep.
So they put in, what's the man was Ronald Coleman.
Yep.
Coach Prime says that was on him.
Yep.
Well, in essence, it was, because if somebody else made the call, it still would have been up to him to say yes or no.
No,
but
absolutely.
He signed off on that.
Absolutely.
Okay, maybe that didn't win the game. He told him the onside kick was coming, and they still didn't execute it. Now, if he said he knew it was coming, he made the call, and they didn't cover it, sounds to me like politics not doing his job.
Well, no.
Unless you want to say the players just didn't execute.
Do you mean the fake punt?
Right. That's what I'm sorry. Yeah, the fake punt.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, all of that makes sense. But again, I mean, the broadcast talked about it. The guy who caught the ball shouldn't have been able to catch the ball because he was not eligible to receive the ball, which is, I think, why they left him open. I mean, to me, that tells me high level of thinking. I don't know if I want to give the staff that kind of credit that they could see it and we're like, okay, that guy can't catch the ball. We're going to just leave him and let him run down the field and let them do whatever.
Right.
That would be some crazy high level of football IQ to be able to do that in the moment, I would think. But, the fact still stands that is what happened. And he technically should not have been able to catch the ball because the receiver was covering up the line of scrimmage. They talked about that. So I could see kind of him saying they knew it was coming and they set up for it. And then, ASU got away with one because it should not have been executed that way. But I totally agree with everything else you're saying. I mean, yes, it is on Coach Prime to make these decisions on the field. He should always have the last say, and he needs to be much better in his decision making when it comes to that.
Right. And I think what is frustrating, I know even for myself and others who may be original Colorado fans, is hearing him say, everything is on him, but then he is responsible for everybody else under him performing their job, but then he says put it on him, but then who's holding him responsible for what he is or is not doing? Because that's an escape that he uses every time. Well, I'll say escape, but I mean, that's an answer that he gives every time things go wrong.
Yep.
Just put it on him. But nobody is putting anything on him. And I'm not saying he should be fired or anything like that. But just like we know if a player messes up on the field, it's on that player. There should be some level of responsibility, or maybe they are holding it, but we don't know. Maybe that part's not public. I don't know. The two things I want to mention before I get off. One, I've noticed that it's been quiet with Warren Sapp. On the videos and things, he used to be prominent. They had a Wednesday with Warren from Uncle Neary. But he kind of faded in the background. And at the same time, the defense kind of went downhill.
I mean,
so I don't know what happened with that.
If we're reading into it, I mean, maybe there's some changes happening behind the scenes. Again, it does not seem like Coach Prime is going to announce a lot of these changes, obviously, because we had to find out secondhand that Shermer was no longer calling the plays. That part frustrates me. I don't know. Like, you want to keep, fans and people on your side and, keep them behind you. You announce these things when you make these sort of changes, especially, when things are going so poorly. Like, I wanted him to come out and just straight up say, the play calling is not where it needs to be. I've been going and hammering that home for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we were not getting it done the way that I wanted it to get done. So I've made a change at OC. To me, that tells me that you're in charge. You've got everything under control. You know what's happening, and you're holding people accountable. Instead, we don't get that. We get wishy-washy. We don't get any information. We get hostility when people ask questions about that. I think it needs to be out there in the public. And I hope that, when the game ends on Saturday, we get to hear all of, the plans, so to speak, of what's going to happen this offseason. And I don't mean like telling us every single step, but saying like, these coaches are no longer going to be returning to Colorado, and we're going to begin, searching for these positions to fill them, and, at least do that by the time we roll into that offseason and roll into signing day. I hope that's what happens, but I don't know if it is, just based on what we've seen so far.
I agree with you. And it would be less frustrating for those who are fans, because that shows us that when he tells us to put it on him, he's actually doing something to make it better. But when you just say, put it on me, but we don't see or hear about anything being done to make an improvement, that sounds a little, I don't know, it's just frustrating is what it is. And the other thing, the last thing for me on this, I haven't heard much about, and this might fit under what you just said, about Swayze, because is it just me, or does it seem like they had a lot of injuries and things this year?
That one's interesting, and I'm very interested to see if we find out more about this, because I'm also wondering just how many of those guys weren't injured, and just because we've heard and we found out. I mean, a majority of that injury list disappeared at the Utah game, when it was found out that if they're redshirting or if they're out for the season or if they're transferring, you do not have to list them on the injury report anymore. And so our injury list dropped considerably at that point. And I wonder, how much was injuries? How much was, kids quitting on the program early? You're going to run into some injuries. You look at the running backs, you look at Jordan Seaton, those are all ankle injuries. I don't know what you can do strength and conditioning wise to perfect your ankles. Sometimes they just happen. You roll an ankle, it happens at every level of sports. Every athlete has had it happen to them. So I don't know if you can put that on Swayze. Maybe some of the muscle pulls that you hear about, constantly happening.
Right.
DJ McKinney, I know, was battling an injury the entire season, which might explain why he had such a drop off in play. But if you're playing, you should be good enough to play health-wise, so that can't be used as an excuse. So it will be interesting to see, do we see another change at the strength and conditioning? At which point, if that is the case, that Prime is scapegoating essentially Swayze for the injuries and saying that's why we had them. I don't know. But it's going to be very interesting. We're about to see. I mean, we're less than a week away at this point from hopefully knowing a little bit about where we're going in the future. We'll have to see once we hear from Prime. I'm assuming next week at some point. When he does, I'm assuming what'll be an end of the season press conference, but we'll see.
Good. Yeah, that's true. Russ, I'm sorry. I want to just get your insight on two more things, because you have great insight on things.
Yeah.
Two things. One, do you think that the turf has an input on the injuries?
Repeat that one more time. You cut out when you said what has an input on injuries?
Do you think the new turf?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, it'd be hard to know. The team would be able to tell us. We'd only be able to find out. I mean, we'd have to go back through tape and just see when players got injured and whether or not it was at home or away and what that had to do with it. I mean, if we have another season like this, I mean, you have to start questioning whether that's, harming the players more than it's helping. I I mean, statistically out there, the stats and the studies on turf say that turf does cause more injuries than it helps with. So you could easily put that as another scapegoat, if people wanted to when it comes to the injuries. But
Right.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, especially in year one of the new turf.
Okay. Okay. And the last thing is, what type of impact, if any, do you think it will have on Zuzu when they change to a new coordinator?
So I've talked about that. I think what's going to happen is I think whoever they decide to go with offensive coordinator wise, I think Juju and his team of people will most likely be involved in that decision. And I think that's why Julian Lewis is coming back. I think he's going to have full autonomy to be a part of that process and have a hand in the decision making. I think whoever they pick will be somebody he is very comfortable with and likes the system and everything like that. And I've been telling people this, night and day, like it almost doesn't behoove Julian Lewis to leave at this point. He can come back for one more year. He can potentially, and we'll see, keep his red shirt if he sits out this Saturday. And at that point, then it's no harm, no foul if he comes back for one more year, sees what happens at Colorado, sees what happens with Prime. And then at that point, if he wants to leave, he leaves, and it really does not hurt him to that extent. He can put more, tape together. People will get to still see that he's a good quarterback, and he could honestly get an even bigger raise if he wanted to leave after next year, if he has an okay year, even if Colorado doesn't. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to have a big, big hand in whoever the next OC is. And that's why I think his family are going to be fine with him staying one more year.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what happens.
Agreed.
All right, Russ. Thank you.
Agreed. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in. Guys, I appreciate you guys so very much. I'm not going to be able to hang on much longer. Got to get some other stuff done. I'm going to go live again later on this week. Obviously, Wednesday, 5 o'clock Mountain Time with David. We will talk Buff Blitz. We'll talk the Kansas State game, but we're also obviously going to be talking about what we're talking right now together. We'll talk about recruiting. We'll talk about coaching staff. We'll talk about the future of this program. We've got some things coming up that we're planning to do. I'm trying to get together. I had a thought and an idea. To have a state of the union, state of the Buffs, come to Jesus moment. And I'm going to see if we can get a couple people to be involved. That's going to be my new goal for December, is to put together some kind of show where I can grab some people from multiple places and include them. See if they want to be a part of it. Okay. See if they want to be a part of it first and foremost, but see what we can kind of put together. That's my latest idea and thing that I've been cooking up. And I'm going to be reaching out to some different people to see if they want to be a part of that, to, provide their input on what they think needs to happen to the Buffs this offseason. And we'll see what happens. The people that'll be included will most likely only be people that can speak their mind. We'll see who wants to be able to do that. That'll be a thing that I'll have to tell them is like, hey, I want you to be as completely honest as you possibly can and not worry about repercussions from the program. Because unfortunately, some people connected to the program can't say what they want to say because of their ties to the program. It's just the case. You're not going to keep a media credential if you speak in an incorrect way, unfortunately, with this program. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to try and get together with some different people and see if people might be interested in doing that. But yeah, I'll be very interested to see what happens with that come, this offseason and what's going to happen. But 5 o'clock Wednesday, Clay coming in again. Clay, you are absolutely insane, as always. Clay Farmer, $10. It's a difference for being hurt and injured. These ankle twist guys playing with clubs and knee injuries can't be blamed on Swayze. Those are injuries. That's true, Clay, and I do appreciate that. And I will say, the guys that have been playing with the clubs, hands, and stuff like that, and ankles, have been some of the players that have shown the most heart when it comes to this program. You got to admit that, guys. Okay? Guys like Tafik Byard. Guys like Slaughter, guys like Yo-Yo, guys like Seaton at times, all the guys that are going out there. I mean, Tafik Byard is getting an interception with a damn club on his hand. That dude is all heart, okay? when it's all said and done, I mean, honestly, at this point, I'll give you guys the sneak preview. But when I get to the end of the season, conversations that I'll have with David and other people, Tafik Byard is getting my player with the most heart this season, player of the year for Colorado. That dude deserves every rose, and I hope that we can keep him on this team next year because that dude is a Colorado Buffalo through and through. When you look at the motto that Colorado is supposed to live and breathe by, Tafik Byard really exemplifies that. The pride and tradition of the Colorado Buffaloes will not be entrusted to the weak or timid. Tafik Byard is that to a T. Tafik Byard is that to a T. Okay? So I will say that. Okay? I truly will. I truly will. Yeah, he will not be coming in, obviously. You guys are hilarious. Love you guys. I truly do. Love you guys so very much. I truly, truly, truly appreciate everything that you guys bring. Everybody that watches this, no matter if I agree with your takes, if I don't agree with your takes, whatever it may be, I just appreciate that you choose to watch me yap for an hour every Monday this season. That's what I'm thankful for on this Thanksgiving. Let me know in the comments down below what you're thankful for if you get to this point in the video, just to show me that you've watched the whole video. I do appreciate that. Hit a like as always. That helps out the channel more than anything you can ever imagine, and it's completely free. Always, always thank you for the people that gave super chats. Mark, Jordan, as always. Clay, thank you so much this season, Clay. You don't understand how much it's meant to me, all of the support you guys have shown. So I truly, truly do appreciate it, guys. We will see you on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time for the Buff Blitz for one more time during the regular season. Until next time for Buffs News Weekly Live, I am your host, Russ. Go Buffs, as always. See you guys next time.